Come on in, come on in. We got Jamie and Audrey today.
Hello.
Happy Monday.
Yes, it's a great day.
Yeah,
It is a good
great
Monday,
day.
isn't it?
Good weather. We'll get to that. But thanks for joining us for KARE 11 News at noon. We're starting off a new week, and it's looking like it'll be a warm one. I know you'll have more on that in a minute, but I know you're also tracking some breaking news that happened overnight.
Yeah, that's right. Multiple people are hurt after a shooting in Minneapolis. Police released some new information just a few hours ago, so we can get into a little bit more into what happened there.
Okay, so you've got that, and then we've also got that update that we were waiting for the weather.
Yeah, we're going to start to feel the heat climbing throughout the week. We're going to possibly end up towards 90 degrees by the weekend, and that would be our first 90 of the year, if you can believe that. Right now, though, taking a look at satellite and radar, area low pressure is just exiting to the northeast. It is setting up a little bit of isolated rain in parts of northwest Wisconsin right now. A couple of those isolated downpours in a few spots. We're also going to be watching for rain developing around the metro. You can see just a few cells starting to pop up as you look towards Washington County, just straight west of River Falls. Right there. This is expected to pop and continue over the next couple of hours, but right now sitting at 78, feeling like 79 with a dew point of 59. And when you check out that hour by hour forecast again, as we get a little closer to 1, 2, 3 o'clock, we should see a little more of that isolated rain popping up around the metro. We'll time out the rest of your afternoon and take a look at the rest of the week.
Hey, that's the weather we like to see. Thanks, Jamie. Well, developing this morning, Minneapolis police are trying to piece together what led up to a shooting that sent 3 people to the hospital earlier today. Audrey was at the scene all morning. She joins us with more details. And Audrey, where are police with their investigation right now?
Yeah, Cece, police right now are looking for the suspect or suspects behind the shooting. In the 10 hours since it happened, they've made no arrests. Officers now are trying to figure out if the 3 victims are connected to a fight that broke out just after 2 a.m. Police say that fight ended with someone firing shots near a crowd outside of Augie's. That's on the corner of 5th Street North and Hennepin. Our cameras captured multiple shell casings. You can see them on the ground. 2 men in their 20s were hit and got sent to the hospital with serious injuries. A woman in her 30s was also shot. She's expected to be okay. All 3, though, were brought to Hennepin Health Care Center for treatment. So now police tell us they're working to determine what led up to the fight and why it turned to gunfire. And this is just the latest chapter in a long history of violence at this club. And I've got more on that, Cece, coming up at 12:30.
Yeah, still a lot of questions this afternoon. Thanks, Audrey. Well, we're also following 2 separate shootings out of Minneapolis, one leaving an 18-year-old dead, the other leaving a 17-year-old seriously hurt. Gunfire first broke out around 9 near the intersection of 27th Street East and Nicollet Avenue in the Whittier neighborhood. Police say officers found the 18-year-old man with gunshot wounds, and he was rushed to the hospital where he later died. Investigators say early information shows a fight escalated into a shooting. So far, there have been no arrests. About 30 minutes later, police were called to Dowling Avenue North and Fremont Avenue North for a shooting. They found a 17-year-old girl with serious injuries. Later on, a 30-year-old man with gunshot wounds showed up to the hospital and said he had come from the same scene. No arrests have been made in this case either. Well, today, the Elk River community is coming together after a deadly crash, killing 2 teens and leaving a 3rd seriously hurt. Michelle Beck brings us to a memorial in their honor.
You can see it is a growing memorial from over the weekend. The number of flowers, balloons, candles from all the family and friends who have come here to mourn, as well as the 2 crosses put here by the base of this tree. Tony and Donovan, of course, the 2 17-year-olds who died as a result of this crash. In the moments leading up to the crash, Minnesota State Patrol says a police officer saw a car going over the speed limit. The officer turned around to pull the car over, but it had already rolled over and hit a tree by the time the officer caught up to it. 17-year-olds Donovan Goebel and Tony Kreider died. Charles Gabrelsik is a 3rd teen from Elk River, and he was seriously hurt. Tony's family says he would have turned 18 next month.
We would just hang out sometimes. But like, he was a very outdoors person. He would do a lot of stuff for you and for the people that like, he cared about.
Donovan's obituary says he had a zest for life, loved fishing and spending time with his family and friends. All this as the investigation continues. At this time, Minnesota State Patrol says they don't know whether or not alcohol played a factor in this crash. They do know, however, that all 3 boys were wearing their seatbelts. In Big Lake, Michelle Beck, KARE 11 News.
Very sad. Thanks to Michelle for that. The state is also mourning the death of Minnesota Vikings rookie cornerback Kyrie Jackson, who died in a crash over in Maryland. Investigators say Jackson was a passenger in a Dodge Charger when another car hit them while attempting to change lanes. The Charger then went off the road and hit multiple tree stumps. Jackson and one of his high school teammates died at the scene. The other teammate died at the hospital. Jackson was just under a month away from starting training camp with the Vikings.
Kyrie belief in himself. If anybody know his journey, you couldn't tell him anything. He knew, hey coach, I'm going to play in the NFL. It's plan A or nothing for him. And he drove that cart all the way to, getting drafted this past season.
Yeah, we also have this statement from Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connell. He says, quote, Kyrie brought a contagious energy to our facility and our team. In our short time together, it was evident Kyrie was going to develop into a tremendous football player, end quote. We'll continue to update this story on air and online as we learn more. A new development today in the continued Minneapolis Parks and Rec workers strike. The workers union is filing a complaint against the park board, saying they're deliberately using disinformation to undermine their workers while refusing to bargain in good faith. They're claiming unfair labor practices, the misuse of teen workers, and union busting behavior. We're reaching out to the board for a response. The union is holding a press conference right now on their latest move. We'll have more coming up on KARE 11 News at 4. Tonight, Llano Lake City Council is expected to pass a moratorium for land, delaying the controversial Medina Lakes project. The city argues residents are concerned about traffic with the 156-acre development. Developers believe the decision is racially motivated. They say they'll decide next steps, including a possible lawsuit, after tonight's meeting. The Rondo Community Land Trust has officially ended their partnership with Justin Sutherland. The celebrity chef planned to open a coffee shop in the historic Golden Time space after the original owners retired. The split comes after charges were filed against Sutherland last week for allegedly pointing a gun at his girlfriend and threatening to kill her. He denies the allegations and says it was just an argument between two people ending their relationship. This afternoon, members of Congress are back on Capitol Hill, which means Democrats will be able to discuss concerns over President Joe Biden's re-election bid face to face. On the campaign trail this weekend, Biden insisted he's staying in the race. Nearly a dozen Democrats are calling on him to step aside, including Minnesota Representative Angie Craig. She says she has great respect for him, but doesn't believe he can effectively campaign and win against Donald Trump. Still, Biden's campaign is working to convince the public he's capable of leading the country for 4 more years.
I've been doing this a long time, and I, honest to God, have never been more optimistic about America's future if we stick together. I really mean it.
Biden will host world leaders in Washington, D.C. for the NATO summit tomorrow. We have more on that coming up later on in the show. Right now, the Texas coast is being hit hard by Hurricane Beryl, the first Atlantic hurricane to hit the U.S. this season. CNN's Lee Waldman shows us the conditions in Texas right now.
Now, Tropical Storm Beryl is moving through the Houston area. We're getting reports of high water rescues happening there right now. This comes after we're hearing of our first death attributed to this storm also in the Houston area. All of this comes as more than 2.3 million customers are without power, all thanks to Beryl moving through Texas.
We've got tree limbs, a tremendous amount of debris that's on the roads. Water's covering the roadways now.
Beryl made landfall in Texas early Monday morning after strengthening to a Category 1 hurricane.
We've had hours and hours and hours of extremely high winds, high water. It is a significant storm.
The storm's damaging winds toppled trees and down power lines, leaving many homes and businesses in the dark. More than 1.5 million of those are in the Houston area alone, according to local provider CenterPoint Energy. Authorities are asking residents just to stay where they are and not try to go out.
The biggest concern is people staying put until the storm conditions subside. They need to continue to be hunkered down, let the storm, let the winds pass, and then pretty much stay put. Take care of things on their own property.
Some in low-lying areas evacuated ahead of the storm. Others boarded up and hunkered down. Memories of the damage Hurricane Harvey caused 7 years ago still on their minds.
You don't leave any rock unturned in preparation, that's for sure. After Harvey, you just every hurricane approaching you is huge.
Tropical Storm Beryl is bringing with it the threat of tornadoes. Right now, 3.5 million people between Texas, Louisiana, and Arkansas are currently under tornado watches or warnings. We have our eyes on the path of what's already a destructive storm. In Port Lavaca, I'm Lee Waldman reporting.